Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Zander Insurance Countdown to Friday. It's B-Hop and Mo on the go. We're up here in Sumner County, the home of the Gallatin Green Wave and Mark Williams. Offensive lineman, mind you. That's why we're up here, because all the cool cats coach offensive lines.
Right.
Let's just start right there, because you started out, sure, as an offensive line coach.
Right.
But before you got to be a head coach, you were the offensive coordinator for your brother.
Yeah,
What was that like?
It was fun. It was really fun. I enjoyed getting to coach with him. Got to coach with him for 6 years. 3 years at Blackman and 3 years at Smyrna. And it was very fun. And the offensive line is where my heart's at. I love those guys. They're kind of the unsung heroes. And I was fortunate enough to get to play it in college. And it was just something I wanted to carry over my passion into football. And I really enjoyed doing that.
I thought it was really cool. We were talking off camera, Brad, and this, I think this is really cool because I hang out with this guy a lot. But Mark said he's owned 2 Titans jerseys. One was Bruce Matthews, and the other was a number 72. So
Absolutely.
Almost brought a tear to my eye.
Only 2 I ever had.
Yeah. We talked a couple of weeks ago, I guess.
Right.
And you guys started off 4-1.
Mm-hmm.
Same as you did last year. Started off 4-1, I think 3-0 in region play.
Mm-hmm.
Finished up 4-6 last year.
Right.
And when we talked at the midpoint this year, you said that wasn't going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
One, what was it that made you so comfortable saying that? And 2, what has happened since then to bear that out?
I think number one, when I said that, there was a ton of belief in our guys and what we were doing. They worked their tails off this year in the weight room, and there was just a difference about them and their mentality and their approach to things. And as a coach, you're with them every day, and you see that their willingness to fight, their willingness to get better. And I just, I knew that these kids weren't going to accept that. This team wouldn't accept that, and so far, they've proven that they want a little bit more, and they've worked for that.
Since that first loss that you had at the very beginning of the season where Mo was talking about 4-1, you won a host of games up until you ran to the beach.
Right.
You had to rebound from that. What was it like, getting these kids focused back on what you'd already accomplished up until that point of winning?
We just talked about the basic things. Our goals were still intact. The belief was still there, and our kids knew, they played a good beach football team, and it came down to the wire, and they knew that they had an opportunity to win that football game. And again, it goes back to their resiliency, their toughness, their mental toughness more than anything. And this team, coaches included, all the way to the managers, they want to succeed, they want to get better. And that week of practice after that tough beach loss, there was energy in practice. There wasn't, heads hanging down or anything like that. The kids were bouncing around, and as a coach, when you see that, it tells you that these kids, are not going to accept that, and they're going to keep fighting.
Coach, when you have a team that's as one-player centered as your team's success has been this year, it could be easy for things to get fragmented. Maybe.
Right.
How have y'all kept things, everybody moving in the same direction behind a guy as dynamic and as productive as Jordan Mason has been for y'all this year?
Jordan's had a great year. There's no doubt about that. But Jordan would be the first one to tell you, his offensive line has a lot to do with that. Our quarterback being able to distribute the ball some to our receivers and open some things up has had a lot to do with that. And we talked, our defense last week against Hendersonville came out and made several key stops for us in that victory. And so, I think our kids do understand, yes, we've got a great player in Jordan Mason, but we've also got a ton of other great players that do their job and do their role, and it's a true team. And what we talk about here at Gallatin High School, it's a family atmosphere, and so our kids have really bought into the family dynamic.
Coach, you're a wrestler.
Yes, sir. Well, I was. I'm not a wrestler.
Once a wrestler, always a wrestler, right, Mo?
Yeah.
Okay. So with that, obviously multiple sports has been in your background.
Right.
We ask a lot of our coaches that we talk to here on B-Hop Mo on the Go what their thoughts are about sharing the spotlight, so to speak. Now, Jordan Mason, we already know what his accomplishments are as a running back. But what about as another sport? I know that we've talked earlier before the show started about some other things that Jordan could do. How do you deal with a multiple sport athlete, Coach?
I want our kids. I think kids should play multiple sports. I really do. I think they only have a short time in high school to be exposed to things, to be exposed to different things, and to be able to go out and play multiple sports. And to be honest with you, if I know a kid can play multiple sports but yet can still play at a high level in football, I want that kid. I think too many times we pigeonhole kids into one sport. They're playing at a really young age, and they're getting a lot of practices in that one sport, a lot of different things. So you see injuries, you see fatigue, you see mental fatigue from those things. I want our kids to play as many sports as they can, and I'll say this, here at Gallatin High School, the coaches here do a great job with working with each other in terms of our athletes, and it's just something I'm for, and I was fortunate enough to get to play multiple sports in high school, and there's a lot of fond memories from that.
All right, I'll put you on the spot real quick. Okay, so you got a guy that he is just a top ace at football.
Right.
He's a top ace at basketball. He's a top ace at baseball. Which sport do you push him towards?
I want to play football. In his downtime, though, he can play those sports.
Mark, you're in a unique situation here from the standpoint that, and you were a former wrestler,
Right.
and like Brad said, once a wrestler, always
Right.
a wrestler. You guys don't have wrestling here at Gallatin, and so it makes for an extra challenge, I guess, for you to get some of your guys into wrestling because y'all co-op with Henderson,
Right.
Which I'm sure is interesting as well.
It is, and it's been a great thing with Hendersonville working with us. The wrestling coach has been fantastic. It's something that hopefully one day we do have here at Gallatin High School. We've got a lot of great sports here, great faculty, great administration. But yeah, we'd like to see our kids, do something other, and also the off season can be a grind in the weight room, which we love the weight room. We're all about the weight room. We want to get bigger and stronger. But if kids can play some other things, get exposed to other things throughout that short time in high school, I'm all for it.
Coach, a lot of our coaches that we interview, they cross county lines, so to speak.
Right.
You started down in Rutherford, now you find your way up here calling the shots in Sumner.
Right.
Is there a competitiveness that you see a difference between like the counties around here, particularly where you came from where you are? How do you see that?
I think, from Rutherford County to Sumner County, the competitiveness is the same, week in and week out. You're going to have to bring your A game each week. Obviously, bigger schools in Rutherford County, so they're going to have more athletes at certain times. But, in the past, Sumner County schools have played Rutherford County schools and been very competitive, and I can remember one time in 2011, Gallatin goes down to Oakland, and we beat Oakland in the last seconds with a field goal. So I think the competitiveness is the same, just, bigger population, more athletes to go around down in Rutherford County.
To open it up a little bit more, there were times in past years where that Region 2-6A down there, that basically Rutherford County with a couple of other teams, was kind of referred to as the Southeastern Conference of high school football. Last couple of years, Region 6-5A, the region that you guys are in, along with some of your Sumner County mates and some Davidson County schools, to me looks to be every bit as competitive,
Right.
and maybe more so. Kind of compare those two just a sec.
I think when you pull in schools like a Hillsboro, like a Cane Ridge, who are well coached, who have a lot of athletes and who do the right things at all times, it makes for a very competitive atmosphere. Then you have teams here in Sumner County like Hendersonville, who's been to several state championships. You have the Beach, who's won 2 state championships, and of course you have Gallatin that has 3 state titles to their name and several runner-ups. There's a lot of pride that goes in with that, and there's a lot of history that goes in with that. But the dynamic is still there to have a competitive atmosphere, and you better bring it every week in this region. You better bring it. You better be well prepared.
Wrapping it up, Coach, you just mentioned Hillsboro. They're next on the schedule here, the Burros.
Yes.
So what do we do here to finish up these last couple of games to position yourself for the playoffs?
We talked about this week. We're on fall break this week. We came in the last 2 days, had some very light practices, and the one thing we talked about to our players is, be true to what we do. We don't have to change anything up. We just have to go out and play really good football. And I know that's easier said than done. But our kids have done that in the past, and you're right. We finish up with probably 2 of the better teams in our region with Hillsboro and Cane Ridge. So we've got to go play good, clean football. We can't make mistakes, and I think we just have to keep chipping away like we've been doing all season long.
One of the smartest coaches that we'll ever interview, probably because he's an offensive lineman. Mark Williams here, head coach of Gallatin. The hopes of the Green Wave can get a big W this Friday. Coach, thanks for joining us.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
That's going to do it for another edition of B-Hop and Mo on the Go, Destination Gallatin High School. Back to you, Mo and Brad. Okay, so it's always cool catching up with Mark Williams. What a great guy. Real quick before we go to the break, Xander Insurance Group, like we talked about in the last segment, they're giving away a $20,000 scholarship, but these are the requirements. You must be a high school football athlete from one of the following 8 counties in Metro Davidson or Metro Nashville area. That's Davidson, Williamson, Rutherford, Wilson, Sumner, Robertson, Cheatham, or Dixon. Obviously, we'll give you a website where you can actually go find those counties, but your student must have a minimum overall GPA of 2.5 for a freshman, sophomore, and junior years. A student who accepts the full ride scholarships do not apply. Of course, we're trying to find those athletes that might be on the precipice of getting a D1 scholarship but could use some help because they didn't get the looks that some of those athletes did. So go to www.xanderins.com. That's www.xanderins.com/scholarship contest to find out more. So what has to happen here is students must be recommended by a principal or a football coach, and the recommendation form must accompany a submitted essay. The essay has to be 500 words. So get your coach to talk about you, write this the essay, and you could actually be one of the people that gets a $5,000 per semester scholarship from Xander Insurance Group. That's pretty cool. Because I remember even talking to some kids that were saying, hey, look, I could potentially have had part of my scholarship paid for to go play for another school, but the rest that I owed, didn't have it, couldn't go. This is where Xander Insurance Group steps up, and they offer an awesome contest like this to give away 20 grand. So you might want to be talking to those around you that can actually get you involved. Once again, it's www.xanderins.com/scholarship contest. When we come back, we got so much more to get into, but we'll leave you with Siegel Blackman. Stick around for more from the Xander Insurance Countdown to Kickoff when we come back.